Hi guys, I'm Mark and today we are gonna create a fantastic stamina bar like this. So let's get started. It's a very easy tutorial to follow. Okay, so the first thing to do is basically go in input. I have here the third person character template, go in actions, and I want to create another input action. Go in input action, yes, and I want to call it AI underscore sprint. So here double click, and also here I want to select boolean, and for the triggers I want to choose old here. And the last thing to do is go in this little icon and choose for the all-time threshold. I will choose 0. So in this way basically the sprint starts when you press the key. Otherwise it can take some seconds, some frames. Okay, so now we want to go in our input context mapping, and of course here we have it. Otherwise you can create it and also add it to our player controller. So go in mappings, click add, and now I want to search AI sprint. So I want to choose here the key. So basically click here and press left shift or other key that you choose. And okay, now we have done everything for the input. So now we go to our player blueprint. So blueprints, third person character, yes. Now we want to set up our variables. So basically go here in variables, and I want to create our max stamina. That's basically a float. The second one is our stamina here, okay, and maybe I move it like this. The third one, it's basically our walk speed, run speed, and also we want the stamina drain rate. And after this also another, I choose to duplicate it. It's not drain but is regen rate. Okay, and now we can basically set up the default values. So compile and save first, and we can move on. So max stamina, I will choose 100. Of course, you can modify all these parameters. For the stamina, I also choose 100. So it's basically the start stamina. Work speed, I choose 600. And it's basically the default speed also for this character movement component. The run speed, I choose 900. Okay. And stamina draw rate, 20. So basically what we subtract to the stamina. And the stamina regen rate, I will choose that. Okay, so now we can set up our actions. So the first thing we want to do is basically call our AI, yes, and now we can get our trigger. So basically we want to set up another variable that is a boolean, is printing. So here I want to choose boolean, compile and save. And okay, we want to set here this. So set is printing here and also here. So basically when it's triggered, I want to set it to true. So basically we can sprint. Otherwise we set to false, and it's basically our complete. So basically when you release the key of the keyboard. Okay, so now we have done everything for this input action, and now we can call our event tick, yes, because we want to call it every frame. And now we want, the first thing we want to do is to set our delta seconds to use it later. So our delta seconds, that is basically a float. It's not necessary to set another variable, but it's more, it's like to organize everything better. So I want to set it like this, and I want to create a condition. So if it's a branch, and now we want to control if basically the stamina, okay, is less or equal. So here less equal, yes, to 0. Okay, because if this is basically true, we want to set is printed into false, because basically it cannot sprint. Okay, yes, I want to set it to false. And of course, after this condition, I want another condition that is basically our main condition. And this is a little bit complicated. So, okay, I want to colligate everything here. And this condition is basically if is printing, so if it is true, and so I want to add and boolean, and if basically stamina, so get stamina is greater than 0. Okay, so let's colligate it. And if it is true, so basically we can do everything. We want to basically reduce this stamina. So we want also to set up our walk speed. Okay, so we can get our character movement and set max walk speed. Yes, so it's basically our run speeds that we have created before. Get run speed, and I will colligate it here. But we want also to reduce our stamina. How to do this? Basically, we want to set our stamina, and to do this, we basically get our stamina. So I will get it, and I want to subtract, yes. So basically, we want to subtract our stamina rate. So get that stamina rate, but before doing it, there is a little node here, multiply, yes, here. And I want to multiply this for our data seconds. Why this? Because basically we want that this is reducing the stamina every second. But maybe you have 30 frames for seconds, or maybe you have 60 frames for seconds, or something else. So basically, if you want to have the correct number of frame in that second, basically you get our data second, this data seconds, and you multiply it for the value that you want to subtract. Okay, so we can colligate it here, and also the return value. Not here, I want also to clamp the value. What to do clamp? Basically, clamp is control that the value is in the range that we decide. So the minimum is basically 0, and the maximum is basically our max stamina. So we have secured that the stamina is not less than 0, and of course is not greater than our max stamina. Okay, so we have done everything for the true. Okay, so now we want to go in false. The first thing we want to do is basically do the same thing here, but not run speed, of course, walk speed. Yes, so get and colligate. And now we want also to check with a condition if is press is sprinting, sorry, is true. Because if it is true, basically we want to reduce the value of the stamina. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. So in the true output of this node, I want to basically set our stamina like this, so I can duplicate it. We want to get our stamina and not subtract but add. Yes, move it down here. And I want to add it our not draw rate, but of course regen rate. So get regen rate, and of course we must also multiply it for our data seconds. Okay, perfect, like this. We want also to clamp the value for, of course, security. So clamp float. The value is of course the same. So basically our max stamina for the maximum and minimum, I choose 0. If you want to, you can choose of course another value, but 0 I think is a good value. So return value go here, and we have set up everything here. Okay, perfect, like this. Compile, save, and now we can go in our blueprint for UI. We can go here in the content. I create another blueprint class, widget blueprint, user widget, yes. And okay, you basically have WB underscore stamina bar. So in the stamina bar, we want to create a canvas panel, and we have basically our viewport, and also we want to create our progress bar here, and we have this little progress bar. Okay, the position I think is perfect, so I choose an anchor like this, and I want to move it here. You want to control it and also add it, because otherwise it doesn't work. We can return in, sorry, here. in third person blueprints and third person character. So we can return here. And in the event begin play, so I can call it begin play. I want to create a widget in the user interface. The class is basically the name of our widget, so WB stamina bar. And the return value is our stamina bar add to viewport. Yes. Like this. So compile save, and now we can check if it have a sense. Yes, okay. So now basically we go here in progress, and in the percent, okay, you can click this little icon, and I have already the binding, but of course you can create it. So get percent. So basically you bind this little progress bar to a function that is our get percent. So basically the percentage of our progress bar in the event graph, in the event construct, I want to get a reference, okay, to our player character. So I want to cast to BP third person character, yes, like this. And I want also to call get pawn, yes, get player pawn, okay. And of course is very important the index, because if you have multiple characters, of course you must change this value. The return value go here in the object, and I want to save that variable, so like player. And this is basically our BP third person character object reference. I want to set it here, so set, so compile and save, and now we can go back and get percent. I want to get it, and I want to get stamina and also get maximum stamina, yes, like this. And of course I want to divide this stamina by our max stamina, and the return value go here. So basically we have done everything. Compile and save, and now we can control if everything works. So okay, of course the color, you can modify the color, you can choose many different options. But if I press left shift, okay, the progress bar works. Okay, so if I continue to sprint, basically you cannot sprint again, because basically the stamina is 0. But here, of course, there is a little problem. Why this? Because basically I have not set an important thing. Okay, the problem is basically here, because it's not is sprinting. The condition here, sorry for the mistake, is basically if the stamina is less than maximum speed, maximum stamina, okay, like this. So basically we wanted to assure that basically the stamina return to maximum stamina after some time. So compile and save, and now if I press play and I run, okay, I want to consume everything. Okay, if I stop here, everything works. But if I stop here, okay, everything works. Okay, perfect. So guys, thank you for watching. This tutorial is of course, and please subscribe to this channel for another tutorial. And of course, if you have some ideas, if you want some type of tutorials for like the next times, please comment below. Of course, if you have a problem, comment below. And okay, thank you for watching again, and bye bye.